Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Slayer's Lair, a sit-down with Slayer. There's too many titles I have running around for this thing, but we got a new updated graphics package. Everything looks nice and cool, so we had to bring that out for the big guns, which is the current undefeated top laner of the NACL, and I'm not just talking in series score. I'm talking in literal games, folks. This is the rookie Phenom, Fiji's own Fiji, CCG's own Fiji, sitting down with me to chat everything League of Legends, maybe some life stuff, maybe some NACL stuff. We're all just going to get to know Fiji. So, Fiji, thank you for joining me for this one, my friend. I appreciate you coming on here and chatting with me, long form style. That's what we're here for, enjoyment. All right, my friend. So I'm gonna take this kind of chronologically with your life, honestly. So I want to immediately go back to the early days of Fiji. All right, and I'm not even talking League of Legends, man. I want to know what got you into video games. All right, because here I'll give you my personal anecdote story that I like to do. I had an Xbox that my dad bought, the OG Xbox. I'm not talking 360. And I remember playing Need for Speed Hot Pursuit on the Xbox with my dad when I was oh man, I had to be 6 years old. So talk to me about what was the earliest memories you have with gaming? Was it somebody that brought you into gaming? How did this ball get rolling to get all the way down to the point we're at?
Six, and then the other one is 30. My other brother might be actually 27 now, but anyways, when I was kind of brought into it because they were into it. So I think I grew up originally, the first console I think I've ever had was the Xbox, and then the one after that was the GameCube. So I grew up, one of my brothers is really into the Xbox, and then one of my other brothers is really into the GameCube. And so I was a Nintendo child / Microsoft child. Okay. Just went on from there. Yeah.
Okay, sweet. So it sounds interesting. Oh, that's fun to hear. So it's cool. It's cool to get talk. I always find it interesting talking to people, talking to players about when they got into gaming, because there's an age range, right? But it sounds for me and you, I'm currently 25, so you're 24, so we're right in the same lane of when games came out. We probably played a lot of the similar games coming up, so that's cool. We can chat a bit more about that stuff as we go. But are you the youngest of three brothers?
I'm the youngest.
Okay,
yes,
all right, cool.
I'm
So what's that like, right? Growing up, and there was a decent gap in age between you, like you said, and your oldest brother down to you. So what was that like? Three boys in one household, and you're the youngest one. Was it fighting for scraps out there, or how did it go on the come up?
Well, I mean, the youngest child usually is the the most your parents like you the most. That's the best way of saying it. So I was I got away with a lot of things, but probably things I shouldn't have gotten away with. If my other brothers did it, they would have gotten in trouble for it. So, but I mean, we were all just really competitive with each other.
Okay, yeah. I am the older brother of a younger brother, so I'm glad to hear that you're admitting that you could get away with some stuff. Because if I asked my brother, I don't think he would admit it, but he knows it deep down, and I'm glad you've recognized that you can get away with some things as that younger brother. But so now, kind of shifting focus over, I want to talk about getting into League, and maybe speaking a bit more on your brother. So, or do your brothers like to play League of Legends as well, or was that something that you got into yourself, or how did we get to League of Legends here? When were the early days of that?
I watched them both play it when I was probably in the 7th grade, so 2013?
Yeah.
2013-ish,
yeah.
And I watched them both play it with one of our best friends, and they stopped playing it. And then I got into it my freshman year of high school / I think a little bit before, so maybe my 8th grade year I got into it, and I played on a Mac. And I played on a Mac for about 5 years for League, but I never really played ranked. I only played normal, and I'd play placements, and that was it.
Okay, yeah. So hey, that's cool to hear. Yeah, I'm also in that same camp, my friend. My first time playing League was on an OG MacBook. God, I was awful. I made a different mistake than you. I did try to play ranked. Not a good idea. not a good idea back then.
Yeah.
Trying to slum it up on the MacBook playing ranked. Okay, so well then this makes me want to ask the immediate question. So did they stop playing League? Like what was their like? Did they play ranked and try to get like a peak rank? Because obviously by now I assume you're probably the highest ranked in the old household if we go back. But was there a point where you like passed them or they recognized you were better at the game and you like kind of were able to like hold it over their head, like, guys, look, the youngest one of the households, the best one at League. Like, is there a competition still there with that kind of stuff?
No.
Okay.
No, they have stopped playing League for a long time. The only game that we would do that for now is like Super Smash Brothers, because we'll all play it if we're together, or like maybe like Mario Party. But besides that, it's like, you know.
Yeah, I had to ask though, right? Because you talked about like competitive household.
Yeah, I'm not it's not like a Viper situation.
Okay, gotcha. You know, I mean, again, like my personal anecdote, my younger brother, he's 2 years younger than me, and we both play the same role. We're both AD carries, and he's a Masters AD carry player. I'm some terrible D4 peaker, so I have been passed up by the younger brother. So, and he has definitely let me know about that every single time he can. So I had to be curious about that. You said Super Smash Bros. Though, is there like, what are your like other games that you like to play outside? Obviously, we'll get into how much you have to play League now with your current situation, but is there another genre of games you really like to go to? Are there games you like to play to try de-stress from League? Like, what's the Fiji games catalog looking like? Maybe these days are just favorites of past.
My favorite game of all time was Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door on the GameCube. Yeah, I was really into like turn-based RPGs, so like also I played Super Mario RPG as well. Right now, I'm really into Slay the Spire 2, so I will be playing Slay the Spire 2 on my off time. I'll also play like Magic the Gathering, well, Commander only. And then the other thing that I used to play a lot was Dead by Daylight. I stopped playing Dead by Daylight.
Okay, yeah, I feel like I remember the Dead by Daylight craze. I tried it for a bit, but I didn't get too far into it. I've seen videos of like people like pro hunters, and I'm just like, wow, I'm glad I got out of the game when I did. These guys go crazy in that game.
I mean, it's like all like the game is like all ranked pretty much, but like I never really played the game. Like I know people play it competitively, but like I've never tried to do that. I would just play the ranked ladder and that's see how far I get.
Did you get high elo in Dead by Daylight, or like what's considered it?
It all goes to like one, like you'll like it's like all like one rank. Like you'll like climb the ranks, and then like if you're it's not like a number like League. Like it's like Challenger's like top 300, and you can see their visible rank. You don't see the visible rank. It's like you're just like a red one, and then like anyone can get up to that rank as well.
Okay. So did you get
at least
that
that's
high?
when I played. Yes, I got to like the red one.
Okay.
I'm a lot better at like those types of games and like than like FPSs. I'm terrible at FPSs.
Okay, interesting. Okay, yeah, because I'm curious. That's something I'm always curious about, because like there obviously is. I mean, there used to be like a ton of there is separation because League's a MOBA, there's FPSs, but now it's like with Valorant under Riot, like blending the two games. I'm always curious if people start venturing, because there's guys like Insanity in the NACL that I think he ended up getting. If there's any Valorant people watching, don't flame me. I don't know the ranks well, but I think he's pretty high peaking in Valorant as well as he is League. So it's always interesting to hear how the FPS blends go there. Okay, so we got some other games that we go to, we play to. I've seen a lot of people I've seen a lot of high elo players. I was just watching 5 Mini actually before we started this interview, and he was playing Slay the Spire, waiting in those god awful queue times. So I'm sure that's what you definitely get up to whenever you're waiting for those queues to pop. Let's talk a bit more about League though. The fun question you talked about. I already kind of asked you about when you got into League playing on the MacBook, but I did ask Sushi this. I want to ask the same style for you. What's the champion you remember best being released closest to your start of League?
I remember 3 in particular. I remember seeing the Vel'Koz loading screen.
Okay.
I remember seeing the Vel'Koz loading screen. I remember seeing the Braum loading screen, and then I think when I took a small break and then got back into it, and then Echo was released.
Okay. All right.
And Echo, fun fact, is my first champ I ever got a pentakill on. Like release Echo. Like I just, yeah. Like I don't know. I used to play like every role, and that was like back when I was silver though, so it really didn't matter too much.
That's cool. That's cool to remember your first pentakill champion, because I think I'm not 100% certain what mine was, but I think mine was Varus. I actually think I remember getting a pentakill on Varus. My first champion, I remember being on the loading screen. I'm glad that I could tell by the years you told me you started playing League that you still had loading screen champion releases. Those were like the golden days. I remember when we don't have those anymore, right? Like we load into a client and then we like load the client, you know, the whole spiel. So we don't really get those like release champions as often, but I will never forget the Yasuo was mine, where he was just laying on his sword, sitting there, and they had the cool animation for that one. All right, so that's dope. So all roles playing in silver. The next question I want to ask you is like, when did you discover top lane was like your kingdom, and then how quickly did you start to like climb the ranks, right? Like when did we start getting towards high elo? When did we recognize like, hey, I'm really good at this game, and hey, I'm a pretty darn good top laner?
So originally when I played top lane, I think my first couple of champions were like weird. I think it was like, I did play Singed back then a lot.
Okay, good. So it's still in the
but
roots.
I originally started after Swain got his initial rework. So like before they like did his like mid scope, like before, like, so when he had it like R, and if he didn't have a soul fragment, he couldn't ult.
Yep.
And I played Swain top. I would just play Swain top pretty much the whole entire time, which I was sad to see him like get changed, because I really enjoyed playing him and I figured him out. And I played him. This is like when I actually started to play ranked for the first time at Diamond. And then the second year, I started playing a lot of Aatrox and Gnar and Gangplank. Those three champions in particular, and I played those till I hit GM, which at the time, which was like, when I was like, GM first came out, it was like 250 LP. I don't even know, like the cutoff was like nothing.
Yeah,
like,
nothing compared to the current hat ladder, right? Like the ladder now versus then was so much different.
And then like I took a break from League, and like I would only play to like Masters, and then like I wouldn't play, like, historically I don't play a lot of ranked games every season.
Mm-hmm.
And anyone that like knows about me, they like will tell you that historically I've never have. I mean, this season and the last season I played a lot more. But like probably 2 years after I hit GM, I hit Chal, and that's when I was like, okay, maybe I can start playing the game, like, you know, like more.
Yeah, the challenger logo got you thinking like, oh, okay, hold on, I may be onto something here. So expanding on that, right? So I guess what year frame are we at, right? Because I have, you know, done my research and figured out once we start getting competitive, but like, was there a buffer between when you hit challenger and then decided to start playing for like competitive teams, or like when did that bridge happen, right? From the like, I'm really good solo queue to like, maybe I should play in a competitive environment.
It was a little before I started playing with NLE, because I played with Asyla on this master team roster, like a year before that. So okay. Like it was like in between that time frame, where like after I played on that master team roster, where I'd start playing ranked, and then it just went on from there.
Okay, all right, cool. So I guess we got that's the lore drop for Fiji and Asyla. You guys were on a Masters. Do you remember what league it was you were playing in? Like, was it one of the like popular ones?
We played in like this. We were playing in Cupid.
Okay,
Cupid. The Cupid, yeah, and we played with in like the Camino, the Camino Cup. I don't remember what.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm familiar. I was curious if like there was. Because obviously you know that like I just casters like players, right? We have to work our way up. So like I spent a lot of time in tier 3 tournaments. So I was trying to figure out if like maybe I just didn't remember casting you in one of the leagues that tier 3 leagues I casted in. That did not happen. I was not. I know the Camino stuff you're talking about, but
yeah. No, you're good. It wasn't until like I believe the ACL with NLE or the OQ. I don't remember which one. It was either OQ or ACL first, but that was when. Whatever that roster, I think we actually had like a really good run for the players that we were at the time.
Right. So okay, so yeah, that brings us right up to the next point I wanted to go to, which is like kind of talking about those NLE teams, or just like, I guess I don't want to necessarily talk about ACL yet. We can talk about it in a bit, but talk to me about, you know, just like what you remember, what the feelings were around playing those first couple of OQs. Obviously, like I think you guys, if I have it correctly here, like you ended up making, I think you guys made the qualifier playoffs summer 2024, right? Like you got through the what was the 5-round round robin back then. Like talk to me about what you remember, like maybe stuff you like really learned from playing with NLE in those open qualifiers and going up against, was there like a matchup where, like, I don't know if you've heard of like the welcome to the league kind of thing in sports that people talk about, but was there like a matchup, a series where you went like, oh shit, like I'm playing against like some good players now? Like what were those days like?
I don't remember in particular, but I remember playing against Zamudo in a series, and I remember we were playing Scion versus Darius. He picked Darius into me, and then we also played Udyr versus Olaf when Udyr's top got reworked.
Yep.
Or he got reworked, and everyone was playing on top. I was playing Udyr, he was playing Olaf, and then we went to a game of 3, and we ended up playing Swain versus Warwick. And that game,
oh god,
that game was like, I barely lost a 1v1, and it like from there I just couldn't play the game anymore.
So that was you were like, oh shit, well this is what it's gonna be like now if I want to keep doing this. It's like,
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good reminder.
That was very, yeah. And then like, and also like, I don't know, like it made me like pick more to my current champ pool a lot more, because with NLE most of the time I have weird counter picks, but most of the time I pick tanks. That's just known. Like I'll pick a tank and not care. I can go down like gold and I'll just
shrug it off.
Really mind.
Yeah. So yeah, was it during? So you're saying like during the NLE days, like playing those OQs, that's when maybe I'm curious when the champion pool kind of flipped, because you mentioned like climbing up those first times you were playing, like more bruisery, maybe a couple of duelists. Like, was it once you got to competitive you recognized, hey, I've played some Swain top, like maybe I can start playing towards these tanks? Like, when did that start coming together? When did the Fiji champion pool we know today start developing?
Probably one-tricked Scion for a bit. Like after all that on the solo queue ladder, I just one-tricked him, and I was having fun, so I just kept playing him. And like my secondary was Gragas, because I watched a lot of boss at the time. So I one-tricked a lot of Scion, and I played a lot of Gragas, and then I just like went into the other tanks like Ornn or like Udyr when he got reworked, Gardner when he got reworked. There's some tanks I don't touch. There's some of them like the weird ones like Shen, like I'd have to put practice on the champ. I've put practice on the champ recently, but that's a champion, for example. Like it's always weird to me because he's not really like, he's not your traditional tank.
Yeah. That makes sense. Okay, so that's cool. Are there any other champions that like other tanks that you thought about that way, that just like you see more people playing but like you would never pick up besides Shen? Is there other ones that come to mind?
There's more than I'm practicing.
Right.
I guess one of the long-term ones was like when it was popular was Sejuani top. I got into like I'd rather play like Zac top or Udyr top, or same thing. Like I never got into playing Sejuani top, but I know like Alorum, for example, was like he was a huge Sejuani top player, and that was pretty much like the only other one that I'm not familiar with.
That's a pretty deep cut one, so I could get that. I was about to say Alorum too after you said it. It's just like that's how your mind works. It's like Alorum, Sejuani top, or like Moose Hater Garen top. Like when I just see Garen top, that's like the guy I think about. Hey, at this point when I think of Singe top. Now we're at Fiji, but we'll get to old Sinju boy again a bit later on when we're chatting about things. So you got some qualifier experience, and then that's when we really saw you start tapping into playing decent amount of ACL. You played 2024 fall, and then you ended up coming back for 2025 summer and fall. So I kind of want to ask you, for not a lot of people are too tapped into Tier 3, and obviously I think of the ACL as like the premier league of Tier 3 now by this point. How valuable did you find it being able to play in ACL to develop as a player to get you to the point you're at now?
I found it valuable just because like I feel like playing in comp and playing in solo queue, like they're two entirely different things. Like even matchup wise, like it is like it's two different experiences because like in solo queue, you know, a jungler can level 3 gank me for fun, and I just don't. There's no like I have no counterplay to that. But,
Right.
like, but in comp, it's like if they did that, then they would get punished for it. And I feel like me figuring out like originally with the NLE roster, like it stayed the same, but like as the rosters moved forward, like the different rosters I was on, I got to talk to more people, and I can figure out how people were in the competitive environment more and how people acted. And a lot of the time, like I try to not act like most top laners who try to be the main character of a game.
Right.
And I feel like that's my like whole perspective is where like if I don't have to, I don't want to be the main character. I'd rather set up for someone else's success in the game.
Yeah, that's a very unique mindset that I have always found very intriguing about your approach to playing as a top player for sure. So that's cool to hear. I assume, like, as a guy that's very much, how much do you feel like, I guess, your ACL tape maybe helped you get to the point you're in, or were there like combines you played in that you felt like helped put you on the map more, or was it mostly just like those conversations with people you felt like what of the bunch do you think really helped like get more people's attention on you as a player to look at for NACL?
Before I came to Cumberland, like I guess I don't remember what exact month, might have been like February or March, but there was the Ole Miss Combine.
Okay.
And I played in the Ole Miss Combine because, you know, Asila and Aloxio, like, I've known them because Aloxio was my coach for like a year, and Asila, I played with Asila for like 3 different teams. And I played in that, and I was playing against a lot of top laners, a lot of prevalent top laners now, and I had like the highest win rate out of any of them in the whole entire Combine. And it was just playing like the stereotypical weak side picks. And I think that Combine kind of set it off a little bit. Obviously, some of the ACL tournaments I think also set it off because I think we had some decent runs in them. I don't remember exactly how far we got.
I remember when you were on the the Gravity roster, the one with Wen. I think yes, you play with Asila, Josu, Redemption. Wow, that's actually a fun team to think about. That was the highest run you met. So, I guess my next question, you know, kind of going off looking at that team. You mentioned Aloxio. You mentioned Asila. Are there like? Talk to me about players, like what it's been like developing friendships along with some of these players. Obviously, with you guys all competing for like these very valuable spots, are there other guys that you want to like you really credit as helping you develop as a player, or like players that you really enjoyed playing next to really learn a lot of stuff during these days, like ACL and those OQ days?
I mean, I think I was, especially the Gravity roster, the only one that I don't talk to much anymore is Redemption. But everyone else on the roster I talk to pretty much, like, because Dumpo is also part of that roster.
Yes.
So it was Win-Win, Dumpo. I'll still talk to them every now and then. Asila, I pretty much talk to at least once a week, if not. And then Josu, I still talk to pretty much the same a lot. And I'm pretty much, I think, on good terms with all of them. Any of the other rosters, like, if some of them, like, there was like one roster where it was like me, Robbie Bob, Kitsuo, I think, Alcalamity, and Sage.
Yeah.
The only one I talk to every now and then is Alk from that roster. I don't really talk to the other 3 that much.
Okay. All right. How has it been like? How's it been for you? Like, you know, because like you develop relationships from playing like some solo queue. Obviously, you have like teammates. How's your experience been like keeping those friendships with people while you're also like all kind of competing on the ladder or all kind of competing in the space? Is that been an interesting like experience balancing that at all, or?
Yeah, no, it's like if I'm playing like solo queue and I'm against one of them, and like I'm sure like, you know, I will purposely do things to to
There you go.
ruin their experience for fun. And and obviously, I think they know I'm trolling, or they know I'm doing it on purpose. Like, I'll walk in Singe, for example. I tell Sal all the time if I ever play against NACLQ and I know I'm against him, that I'm just gonna walk in drinking Singe and gank him level 3, which hasn't happened yet, but it will happen in the future if I see him on the enemy team and I locked it in for fun. Like,
Nice.
it will happen.
Nice. I love it. I love it. So, what kind of a little bit of a change of perspective here about this time, but I want to ask you, when did you see like the biggest uptick in like you playing, like just logging hours in the game to get better, right? Because you talked about you didn't play a lot of solo queue before you recently started doing it, but like, was there a point where you really saw the uptick in like, oh, we're scrimming a lot, I'm playing a lot? Like, when did you decide to really invest, I don't know, like a lot of the hours of your day, a lot of the days of your week into playing League? Was it once you came to Cumberland, or when did that sort of happen?
Yeah, probably right when I came here, because I went from going from a 1060 to like a 4060, 4080, I don't know what this computer is. So I went from an i5 processor, so it's like a huge upgrade.
Yeah, really big upgrade.
So like,
yeah.
I spent a lot more time playing League last split, just like playing ranked, and I also played comp for here, and then I played the ACL split with CCG, and I also in the summer I subbed for CCG in the ACL split. But I would say, like, because I think I peaked rank 12 on the ladder, pretty much primarily playing, tanks and solo queue last split, which, is a rare occasion, I'd say. Most people don't do that.
Yeah, that's definitely a really cool thing to be able to boast. But I wanted to ask you about like the uptick in League play, because I kind of want to pick your brain a little bit of like, what's kind of the stuff that you feel like you do or is really valuable to you that you do outside of playing League by this point, with how much you're playing it? Like, are we in the gym? Like, is it Slay the Spire? Like, are there any other extracurriculars that maybe people wouldn't know that the Fiji gets up to like take yourself away from League for a day or time?
I'll just go when I'm back home in Florida, I'll play a lot of Commander in person with my friends, because we all play Magic. We play Magic and we play Commander. Or like I'll hang out with brothers. Usually when I'm back home, that's when I go to the gym more. And I usually just go to wherever the Planet Fitness is, like 10 minutes away from me. When I'm here, it's a lot more busy with classes and stuff. And obviously now I have upkeep on scrims, so that really, like, when I'm not like eating, or studying, or like homework or sleeping, it's usually like I'm on League of Legends. So
yeah, you got the grind going. But so I guess that's cool to hear. So I guess the more I'm kind of hearing it, thinking back to when you're at home, like, do you really value your family time as a person? It sounds like, with just like with your brothers and stuff. Is that something you really hold near and dear? Is your family time?
Well, one of my brothers isn't in Florida, and my other one was in an apartment. So when I was back home, it was like, if my one brother was around, I'll hang out with them. But if not, then like, I'm just pretty much just chilling, doing my own thing.
All right. That's cool. Hey, that's a good way to go about it, right? Is you need your Fiji time. I respect it. I kind of forgot to ask you, like, what, a little bit of a segue, but grew up in Florida. What part of Florida did you grow up in? Like, where's the hometown area? Because I feel like Florida as a state, there's like very diverse. Like, being part of one part of Florida can be a lot different than another part, right?
I grew up in the Orlando area.
Okay.
So like I'm like 30 minutes away. I'm not in Orlando, but I'm like 30 to 40 minutes away from Orlando.
Gotcha.
And like, if I really wanted to go to the beach, I could just drive an hour and go to the beach every day. So
that's sweet.
That was pretty much, yeah.
Okay, that's cool. So you've got the Florida beach experience. I'm a SoCal. I grew up in SoCal. I grew up in San Diego. So I can relate to you in that sense, that I could just go out to the beach whenever I wanted to in San Diego. It's a fun. How much were you like were you a bigger beach guy when you were living there? Like, did you like going to the beach? Was there some stuff you did at the beach?
If my friends were going to the beach, I would go to the beach. But if my friends weren't going to the beach, I would do other stuff closer.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's always interesting talking to the East Coast people about the beach, because like, to me, West Coast, like the W in West is for waves is the joke we make. Like I did all like the water sports, like surfing, bodyboarding, but like you guys didn't really have waves at the beach. So like you guys, I feel like it was almost like a different experience. Or were there waves at the beach? I guess it depends on what coast.
It just depends on which beach you go to.
Gotcha.
Because like you can go to a beach over by Orlando, or you can go to like more of the Tampa side, I guess.
There you
And
go.
they're like, yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm learning more Florida beach geography. That's fun to learn. I guess I got. How do you get? This might be the question you always get asked when you tell people you're around the Orlando area. But like, were you? I assume you've gone to Disney World or like Universal. But, like, were you a frequent flyer?
Yeah.
Like, was that like a big part of events, or did you just kind of occasionally go?
We would occasionally go. I mean, it was like not my like uncle, but like it was like my dad's best friend. So he was basically my uncle.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yep.
So he works at like Epcot. So he would give us free tickets to Disney every now and then ask me to go. And then also I was in choir back in like all of high school, and there was a candlelight performance they do every Christmas. And you would get free Disney tickets by doing it, and you would also get to run around Epcot after the performance as well.
Oh, that's a nice little gig. Okay, so Fiji was. I guess that's the juicy detail I wanted though. Fiji was in the choir. Like, is it singing? Like, is singing like something? I guess what's the like? They're like levels, right? There's like baritone, and then I don't know all the like. Where did you fit into the choir? What notes were you hitting for the whole
freshman
squad?
year? I was like a tenor 1, which is like the highest, and then toward my senior year, I was bass.
Okay, so puberty changed your choir outlook. I got you.
Yeah,
okay.
I pretty much did everything at some point.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so does that mean have you done like karaoke stuff before? Is it like do you show up to karaoke kind of just style, or is there any like singing stuff you still like to tap into all this time away from it, or what's
Nah, right now just singing like the car, when
Okay.
I'm vibing. Or like when I'm just doing that, like I'm here playing like AR Mayhem, I'll just randomly start singing for no reason because I'll be listening to Spotify.
Nice.
And I think there has been some karaoke, but not much.
Okay. Well, so the question I'm going to ask you here, the last thing for karaoke is like, if there were one song that you got to sing to like save the world, like death being pointed at Earth, blah blah blah. What's like the go-to song that you're gonna sing? You're confidently gonna be like, this is my song. Like this is my jam. You have one? Or, maybe it's rotating. I don't know. Like, what are you thinking?
It rotates. I would say like. Probably either Holiday or like American Idiot from Green Day.
Oh, those are good picks. Okay.
Yeah, because that was like one of my like that or like I was listening to a lot of the 2008 like or early 2000s rock, so like that or like Move Along by the All American Rejects.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I know exactly. I feel like I can really understand your music taste now. Is it still rooted in that kind of like grungy punk rock now, or have we evolved, or like what's?
There's a lot now. I mean, there's some like I listen to like some Disturbed, but I also listen to like a lot of like musical stuff.
Okay.
Because like I was a Disney child, or like I listened to like I have like Make a Man Out of You on my playlist, and Prince Ali from Aladdin, so I have some stuff like that, and I have like some like metal or another band that's like a weird one. It's called Ice Nine Kills, which is like a band that does songs based off horror movies.
Oh, interesting. Okay, it's always fun to see how like your music taste evolves, because I'm definitely somewhat rooted in rock, because I grew up playing electric guitar and acoustic guitar, but me personally, as I've gotten older, I partly blame my best friend, my roommate, but he loves electronic dance music, EDM. So at this point, I've swapped all the way into EDM. It's a weird time. It's weird how music works. Okay. Last question, I guess I want to ask with general questions is, obviously now you're at Cumberland, which is in Tennessee, but How much of was there a decent amount of, somewhat of a culture shock coming up there to Tennessee versus Florida? I know they're both all in the South, but was there anything you remember coming up to Tennessee that you were like, oh, this wasn't a thing in Florida, or what was that like?
It would just be like, not right now, but like before the gas prices, like coming from here, coming from Florida, which is like, I mean, it's not as bad as like California.
Oh no, it's not.
Yeah, yeah, but like here it was like, it was like very cheap. It was like $2 and like 30 cents or something, like for like.
So you're like,
but now it's
yeah.
not because pretty much that was pretty much it. I don't really notice that much of a cultural difference from in Florida. I guess like
I figured.
the town that I'm currently in, it's like it reminds me of my old town.
That's cool.
Before my old town got very popular, and like I can see this town getting more popular basically, and like I can see it like. Yeah, I can see what it's becoming, which is pretty much what my town is now.
Interesting. Okay, so you feel like you're in like Groundhog Day, just reliving the whole. You got in early again in another town. That's fun. I did want to kind of talk to you a bit about Cumberland, right? Because obviously you mentioned it is like once you decide to come to Cumberland, that's when a lot of like the competitive juices started flowing a bit more and led up to this. Talk to me about. You talked about the Ole Miss Combine was kind of how you got put on the map with Cumberland. How much of a decision was coming here playing for Cumberland about the games, and then also was there part of the motivation obviously to like come back and get a degree, get a master's? Like, walk me through the headspace it was before you made the decision to come out to Cumberland.
They actually offered me before the combine, I think.
Oh, okay.
If I remember, I think before I came out here, like. I guess when I first started playing competitive here, actually, can you repeat it? I was just
no, yeah, you're good. I'm just trying to figure out like how much of the allure was to like come play collegiate, but also the other benefits of coming to here to get a degree, go back to school. Like what were the were those compelling forces to get you out here to play with company?
Yeah. I wanted to go back. I wanted to go back to school. I mean, obviously, I want to play League, and if anything happens where I can keep going forward, then I'll take that. Because I just have a national this is just my favorite game.
Yep,
it has been since I started playing it. Obviously, Silky sucks, but what can you do?
Right.
Like when playing the game competitively, it is fun, and I think that drive kind of just went. When I got here, it just came through. Like obviously grades are number one focus, but if I have an opportunity to go further, I will take the opportunity.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. So still running for the competitive juices. I like it. I always find it interesting to talk to players that are going to college and then playing for the college and platforming themselves as a competitive player. Is there any advice you would give to other players that maybe are looking at colleges to eventually get offers? What advice do you want to give to somebody that's looking to go back to school and play League competitively, or someone that was in your similar shoes just a year ago?
I would just wait. If you got an offer, just don't take the first one that comes to you. Just wait. And then obviously know your worth. I am kind of new, you shouldn't be too what's the word? I guess greedy. You don't want to be too greedy, and you also need to learn how to I guess bargain. For example, I think bargaining is a real thing that you need to learn to discuss about potential scholarship, how much you'd get, because a lot of it is if you're doing it not for the scholarship, you don't need the money, then I know some colleges they just have a league team and you can just play in it, right?
Yeah.
But obviously it's the bigger schools, they'll give you something most of the time for it. And just know your worth.
It's good advice. Yeah, I mean, it can be such a very scary kind of thing, or to bargain for yourself for the first time, right? Because you always want to walking on eggshells. You don't want to scare them off, but you gotta know your worth. That's definitely some good advice. So That's cool. I hear about. I was curious about the CLOL versus playing for the competitive thing because it's an interesting dynamic. So I guess now I kind of want to get talking with you a little bit more forward. Talk about like CCG, right? Because you mentioned obviously the first time you really started working with this org was in ACL. Like, talk to me about when you first got in. Like, what were the early days like? Talking to CCG, landing on this ACL roster. Talk to me about that.
So before, because the ACL roster was because I was subbing for them back in the summer before I came over, and I was subbing them for the summer split, and then the ACL was like I think they just wanted to see how I'd perform pretty much in ACL, and that was kind of like the stepping stone of like playing in this split, because obviously if I didn't do it well, it wouldn't have, if I didn't look like I was doing anything, then it wouldn't have progressed.
Right.
And I guess that split, also that split, I was like, it was me, Claritz, and then like the other 3 players, like LRN players. It was like there was a language barrier, like one of them spoke English and Spanish, and then the other 2 mainly spoke Spanish, because one of them was Steps, and then one of them Sky, Steps, and Virus, which I think now Virus and Sky are on a team, and then Steps is doing his own thing.
Yep.
And then, it was pretty much that was my experience with them in the ACL. I mean, I had a fun time. I don't remember how far we got, but I know
looks like it was like a ninth. It's like 9th, 12th, but you guys were, I think, like lower round 2 in playoffs, something like that. But
yeah, we also just didn't scrim at all. So like it was just like whatever we played was like it was those matches, and that was it.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So, it's really intriguing. I really want to learn about going from ACL, CCG to like NACL, right? Because that's like obviously a big jump, but within the same org. And some of the other guys that were on the NACL talent team were like curious what was like that transition, right? Like, talk to me about when the NACL roster started to come together, when CCG came to you and were like, we want you to come play NACL. What was that time period like, the transition over under the same org?
So they basically told me that like they wanted to like I pretty much was like the person they wanted to help develop, pretty much. So like I was like the first person on the roster.
Okay,
initially.
wow.
But and then like they set up like tryouts, and we had tryouts for a bit, and we landed on the people that we currently have, which I'm grateful for, because I think they're all amazing people and they're all amazing teammates, and appreciate them all. And I think I can learn under Dardock and Codyson a lot in terms of like map movement, which is like was like always my biggest struggle, because like I used to be notorious for like just wanting to stay in my lane. That was like back in my Soliki days though.
Right.
But like now I tend to, due to like the scrims that we had and the tryouts we had, like I tend to do a lot more map movement more. And even like before, like I guess even with Cumberland, I do that a lot more now.
Gotcha. Okay.
Than what I used to do.
Yeah, that's a very, very powerful morph of the game. That's cool to hear about. You kind of led into this next question I did want to end up asking you about, which was like first experiences playing with Josh, playing with Dardock, right? Because obviously you were very familiar with Dardock as a player. He's been around for a while, but what was it like? What is it like, getting to learn with him? What was it like early scrim days with Dardock, and how has he been as just like a mentor to both you and Aljun, obviously being two of the like newer solo laners to the NACL?
I feel like with me in particular, I mean, I think, well, we've, there's most of it has been ups. There's, I think most of the time him and I get along pretty well for the most part. I mean, I'm doing good with him a few times. and like, you know, every now and then, like, I'll be like a griefer in like a scrim. I'll just be an intern. And like, I don't mind people telling me that, like, I can take it. So like, I'll be like, okay, I'll fix it and I'll do better next time, which most of the time I do. Like, I'll like, which, you know, if I feel like I messed up in an area in particular, I'd be like, okay, it's my fault, and like, I'll do better next time, which is something that like I feel like should be a trait in most people. Like, you should be able to know when you did wrong and not always think that you're in the right.
Yeah, that is a really good trait. Was that something that, like, I'm curious how because like I feel like CCG, your guys' play style as an NACL team is very unique, and the aspect that I think Dardoch and maybe just the rest of the team really understand how best to like utilize you. I'm curious, was that something that Dardoch came in and recognized you as a player, and you guys really worked on early in scrims to like utilize the fact that you're kind of a weak side tank that you can move around a lot and play away from? Like, how did the identity of CCG we've seen now that's had so much early success come together?
I think because like originally, like, it was like me and then Dardoch and then June, because they wanted to play together. And then once they found like a real bot lane, and not random people in scrim or tryouts that we were just trying to like form together, I think it started to like show in scrims more, like, because in most scrims I was picking the same champs I am now today, and you know, obviously you shouldn't be playing towards your weak side tank. You know, I'm sure Dardoch yeah, I'm pretty sure he knows that for all of his competitive experience.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, like, I'll play something every now, like, you know, eventually it'll be shown. I'll play it in the ACL probably. Okay, I'll play some champs where, like, you know, it's fine to strong side me if need be, but like most of the time, you know, it's I'm just locking in the protector, pretty much the guardian.
Yeah, no, it's very cool to see. And I'm just always curious about how like that sort of team identity comes together. But the last question I'll kind of ask about the veterans on your team, or like Dardoch in particular, who I'm sure you would say is like one of the louder voices. Is there anything that a guy like Dardoch, who is, you know, played pro, played ACL for a while, he's even played like CLOL, he's gone your route playing at a college. Is there anything he's taught to you that you feel like is very valuable that isn't necessarily like in-game stuff? Like, is there anything outside of the game that any wisdom he's instilled upon you about being a tier 2 player, a semi-pro player?
Not in particularly yet. I mean, you know, season pretty much just started, so
true.
I'm sure
That's true.
I'm sure we'll figure out something whenever it happens. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say.
No, that's fair, right? Like, you guys are. It's very early on in the partnership, so I was just curious if he had any imparting wisdom. So I guess the next part I kind of wanted to go to was talking about just like team environment, team vibes, because you know, having a guy like only 35 on the team, he's a very fun personality. I think you're a pretty fun personality as well. Like, I feel like you guys have great vibes. Like, how have the vibes come together so well on this CCG team, you feel like?
I feel like the vibes have just gotten better over time, and like, I don't know, like, I feel like there's a lot of us, like, we'll just I don't know, like, I guess like the best way I can compare this to is like, I don't remember what year it was, but it was when G2 was versus in Worlds versus Fun plus Phoenix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they were kind of just inting and laughing the whole entire time, or like when you, I guess it goes like that if you're like also just like seeing other people in front of you in scrims, like your opponent.
Right.
So like, I think the vibes have gone well so far, and I think a lot of it does contribute to the players. Like, I don't know how many of the rosters vibe or mesh, like, you know, like that.
Right.
But I think we have all like meshed like together pretty well in that department.
Yeah, and how valuable do you grade how well you guys mesh for when, you know, things aren't necessarily going right. Obviously, it hasn't happened in NACL yet, but you assume that you guys will drop a series, you'll lose matches. You've lost scrim blocks. Like, how important do you find the vibes that you're praising now in spots where things get tough as a team?
I mean, we've had it in scrims. Like, we'll just have like an off day, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I think this kind of goes back to like what I said earlier about people being accountable, and if they're like, if people think they like, if people messed up and they get a little upset, you know, they at least acknowledge, like everyone has so far, I guess, acknowledged that they made a mistake, and we're not the. I don't know. I haven't really had like any issue with like anyone when it comes to that regard at all, or I haven't seen any issue. And most of the time, people are just we just get back up.
I like it. Yeah, it's like that's the old saying, right? Failing isn't going down; it's not getting back up. So getting back up and accountability. Those are cool things to hear about, and really good traits to embodying competitive. So it's cool to hear about that. I do want to start kind of maybe picking your brain a bit more about your play style, because you know, you kind of talked about it earlier ago when we were talking about your champ pool developing. But I guess what are your thoughts on how individually different you feel you are as a top laner compared to everybody else? Because a lot of people talk about into like a developing league that, like, they would argue to put yourself out there as a top laner, you need to be able to, like, you know, crush duelist matchups, like really hard carry. But then there's you here who you just like, I don't mind losing a bit. I'm gonna end up winning the game. Like, what is your take on all that? Your take on top lane in NACL for you versus other type of playstyles?
I think in draft in particular, there are certain moments where, like, yes, it is better to have some carry, you know, in the top lane. And I do think in like, especially in this meta right now, where like most of my supports are locking in enchanters, and we don't really have like, unless my jungler's picking a front line and I can pick a carry. It's like, I think it lines up with us really well that the fact that Dardoch can just slam a early game bruiser pretty much every game, like he has in every series, and just slam the enemy jungler while I'm just being like the engage tool or the front line to prevent the enemy team from doing anything, which I try to do my best on that based off the champs I play. Like I said, because supports right now, like every support's locking in Karma, Nami, Seraphine, Lulu, you know, and it kind of meshes really well together, because I will always, if we need it, I will always be that front line or that tankier champion to do things for the team.
Yeah, no, that's a great read. I think it's like the meta is definitely a strengthening part of how you're able to play this sort of tankier style. I'm curious, like, I kind of want to peek into your mind a bit about just like within the lane, right? Because I'm sure you feel that part of the way that you need to be useful for later is that you have to like tote that line of how much can I give up to the other top laner, right? Like, how much can I give away without giving him too big of a lead? Like, are there any intricacies you see in matchups against certain carry champions, or like any, like, how do you approach the lane toting that line between I can give a lead, but I can't give him this big of a lead? You know what I mean?
I guess it just depends. It depends on the champion. Like, for example, like Glenn. Like, I don't ever want to give Glenn. Glenn's like the #1 scaling champ of the game. I never want to, like, at least top lane, I don't want to give that champion any sort of lead.
Right.
If I can, like, get the wave and then rotate and be there for the fight, it's always good. If I have TP, obviously I can just get the wave and rotate and TP back if I need to. I think playing tanks, like, there are like high econ. I would say there's some tanks where you kind of need to win the lane, and there's some tanks where, like, it's fine if you are trading, like, you know, you don't really need to win the lane at all. Like, you're really low econ. I guess an example of that would be like Sion.
Yeah.
Like Sion, as long as if you're dying and clearing the wave, I think you're just happy. which is something that I will show later. That's
True.
part of the that's part of the mechanic that for Scion for that I will show later. But like for example, if I'm playing like Cassante and I am like Cassante is like one of those tanks where like you know you're level 6, you're really strong during lane. If I'm going behind on the champion, it is a lot worse than if I'm going behind on like Scion, because Cassante has no reliable like engage, and you know the other tanks tend to.
Yeah, no, I find that stuff very interesting, right? Because I feel like a lot of your lanes are toting the line on that kind of stuff and playing around those wave states and how much more important that is when you're not looking necessarily to try and kill the opponent laner a lot of this time. So I think that's interesting. Not that you don't have the capabilities of pulling out a solo bolo. I'm sure you know it's better than anyone that, especially on the Ornn, like that guy's low-key a sneaky assassin if you don't respect the Ornn, especially with the fact that you can just, you know, go back to your turret, buy 2. Because I remember you playing that, I think it was you on the Ornn game where you played an Ornn game recently where it was like you went back and just grabbed 2 cloth armor, and it's like, this guy can't kill me anymore in the lane duel because I just have a bunch of extra armor.
I was playing I played 2 Ornn series so far, and I played Ornn versus Jax, and then the other one I don't even remember what I played it to.
Might have been Mbessa. I think it was Mbessa, probably. Some sort of their AD bruiser trade. Yeah, for sure.
I know I picked Singe into Mbessa.
Oh, true. That was the Mbessa game. Here, I don't know why I'm acting like I don't just have your match history pulled up right here. I can tell you exactly what you played Ornn into.
It was the second game against.
It was Zahen.
Yeah. Zahen, whatever. I still don't know how people pronounce it.
It's all right. That's the caster job. Like you're playing. All right, I'll get the names down for you. So I got you. Yeah, but like I'll never forget. I was on that cast and I saw you. I was like, BG's doing his thing. Look, he's gonna go back to his turret, buy 2 cloth armor, and then from that point on, like every Zahen trade is just. It's just harder. Is that like one of the parts you love so much about Ornn, is the ability to like sneak those items in lane and then like neutralize some of the trades? Because I feel like Ornn's a pretty big champion of yours for sure too.
Yeah, I mean I liked Ornn a lot when I didn't have to go sorcery secondary, but now I feel like I have to go sorcery secondary in most matchups, because Ornn's like if I like rotate, like if I basically have like 2 rotations of spells before my mana actually goes out, or like 3 rotations of spells, because his E is like 60 mana and his W and his Q are like the same, and he only has like 320 base mana or something, like really low. But you know, I like playing Ornn a lot. I mean, Aloxio pretty much picked me Ornn every ACL game, so every ACL series, because most people don't let me get to play most people don't let Sion get through in champ select.
Yeah, I've seen it happen multiple times already. But so I guess to kind of wrap up the champion pool stuff, I did listen. Yeah, I don't know if you knew it was coming. I want to ask you about the Singe. First of all, I want to thank you. I don't know if you caught the broadcast. I was on that Singe game, and I remember. I brought up the fact that I was doing the co-stream that one day, and you came into the chat, and I was like, Fiji, what are we going to do? What do I got to do to get a Singe game? And you told me the champions that you would pick Singe into, so I want to thank you for sticking to your guns. You saw the Mbessa, you said the Mbessa was a pick, and you picked the Singe. Just talk to me about, like, what the comms were like, looking for that Singe look, like, how it felt finally getting to play that staple Fiji champion of all those years back in an NACL match, and to get the win on it as well.
Well, obviously, in the early game, I didn't do too hot. It's just I don't really look for the champion in the early game. It's about like when I'm 2 items and I'm like, you know, I'm max on Insanity Potion level 16, and I can just run through I can just play a team fight a certain way where like if they focus me, then my teammates are winning the fight. But if they don't focus me, then I'm just making like a huge like chaos in the whole entire back line. Yep. Which is what happened in the last fight.
Exactly what happened in the last fight. Yeah.
Like I got, you know, I died 1v1. I made a mistake. Died 1v1. It is what it is. I mean, before that I proxied and I just flashed over Raptor Wall. And showed like.
Well, so like what? Like, do you remember what were you calming there? Like, like how?
Apparently, Apparently my mic cut out during the time, but I also ping most of the time when I'm in game.
Right.
So like if my mic apparently cut it out, but like I was told he had no flash, so like
All
I
you
literally
needed.
just that's I just flash over W him, then in towards my teammate, and he just dies. Like
Oh,
that's
that was a perfect moment.
But,
man. Yeah, I love that.
yeah.
Because I remember I was watching, I was like, oh yeah, he's got the proxy. I'm like, I started saying this. I was saying this whole spiel. I had the spiel. I was like, this is what proxying benefit is. Like, you can run through enemy jungle, and maybe you can ward it for your jungler. You're like, so Darda can watch track. Nah, bro, you ran right to the the raptor wall, and I was like, no way he does this. That was awesome. I'm so glad you got that look. So glad you got the W on the Singe, and thank you again for sticking to your guns about if I get this matchup, I'll pick it, and it worked. I kind of want to go a bit more open broad. Just a couple more questions to ask you about the NACL. How has it been playing the NACL? Like you mentioned, Asila, Aloxio's a coach that's been around for a while. What has it been like seeing players that you spent time playing Tier 3 in, coaches you talked to in Tier 3, and now you're all up here in Tier 2. What has that been like seeing everyone up here in the NACL that you used to see before?
I mean, I'm just ecstatic. I don't know. I'm happy about it. I think I'm happy for the people that like I have played with and who got their opportunity, and even like even if they're the other team, like it's good to see them get their opportunity, even if even if they have like bad moments, it's fine. Like I'm sure they'll perseverance, they'll like push through it, and like I'm sure like a lot of the rosters right now are those, like a lot of those people are from those rosters that are currently like, I don't know, the current standings.
Yeah.
I guess. And a lot of the other teams that are up more besides I guess this team, because we have Algid and I were kind of newer. They tend to be higher because they've played a lot longer in Tier 2. But I really am just ecstatic for other people to have their chance or their opportunity.
Yeah, that's good to hear. I mean, it's dope that the kind of take over you and some of these other players that have been able to have. I mean, like I spoke to Redemption earlier. I thought Redemption has had some good series for Dorado. It's cool to see for sure. Again, now I guess seeing familiar faces. I want to shift to unfamiliar faces. Like, is there a player you're looking forward to matching up against that you already have matched up against the NACL? Is there someone in mind that you're excited to like test your skills and your playstyle against in the NACL this year, top laner wise?
I guess to answer your question, I'm excited to play against Sniper, which is this week's upcoming match. We'll be playing against Conviction.
True.
Which I would like to think Sniper and Tomio are a strong jungle duo. And the roster is just a really impactful roster.
Yep.
So I would just like to see how I personally do into Sniper. Sniper's whole champ pool, because Sniper is kind of like the exact opposite of me.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's definitely an antithesis of your play style for sure. No, that'll be a very fun matchup.
Yeah. So I'm sure I'll have and at the end of the day, even if I don't do my best into Sniper, like I can always learn from it and do better in the future.
Awesome. All right, so this will go live before you play Mr. Sniper, so make sure everybody you tune in, especially for that CCG Conviction matchup. That will be an awesome one to watch. Winding down with some questions here. I guess I have a couple silly ones that a couple of the other casters wanted to ask you that I'll get to in a second, but the last serious one I kind of wanted to ask you was, it's your rookie year in the NACL, your first time in Tier 2. Talk to me about what your goals are for this year, and then just like outside of that, what your goal is looking forward to just your career in general at this current point.
I think my current goal for this year is just keep doing well and keep improving. Probably grow the champ pool a little bit more so I can play like less weak side and like some more strong side picks that are more traditional. Like even like for example like Renekton. Redacton's one where it can be weak side or it can be strong side. I guess Yorick is like my version of that.
Yeah.
I mean, they're kind of two different things, but you know, they're like 80 bruisers at the end of the day. Probably, you know, pick up some more 80 bruisers. I don't know if I'd get into the range category. I have like there's like two of them I'd play, and it's like one of them I already play, which is like, you know, a counter pick. Eventually it'll come out. And the other one would be like Gnar maybe, but like the other ones are like, yeah, no. I mean, like I'm not gonna be like blinded by like if I feel like if I need to like learn the champion, I'll learn the champion. But if I have answers into the champion if they're picked, then I don't feel the necessity of putting all of my time into learning the champ.
Okay, yeah, I think it's a good mindset for your rookie years, just to develop as a player, develop the pool. Overarching though, like, are there the aspirations there to go pro? Like, has that been reinvigorated? Like, getting to play tier 2, talk to people. Like, what's the headspace about your competitive journey?
I think it's one of those things where, like, if I get the opportunity, you know, it's like I said before, if I get the opportunity, I will take advantage of it, and I will do the best I possibly can. Obviously, I want to improve, and prove, like, just everything. You know, I think my biggest weakness right now as a player is, like, laning phase, I would say. And then once I get out of laning phase, it depends on what champ I'm playing. But like if I'm not familiar with the champ, I'm definitely like a lot weaker in the laning phase. Because I don't know what's going on. Like I've just started playing the champ, and I'm like, oh well, you know, that's how this works. That's how this goes.
Right.
But yeah, I feel like outside of laning phase, I tend to be a lot, you know, I tend to show a lot more of my strengths there. If I don't get hiccups while talking.
Hey, listen, you know, this is valuable strength too, right? Is doing these interviews, which you've been killing so far. Yeah. So laning phase, gotcha. That's what we'll be watching. The Fiji champion pool expansion and the laning phase. So we've got that one noted down for future. Last couple questions, like some softballs that I think are just funny questions. First one that I got here, I believe it is from. Oh yeah, it's from Hawk. Do you in fact drink Fiji water, or have you ever had Fiji water? Or like...
Yes, so like my like profile picture that I've had on my Discord and like, you know, as my profile picture for like everything, for like Twitter and Twitch, has been the exact same for. I've had that picture for like 5 years, and I've you know, I've been called Fiji since high school. One of my best friends gave me the nickname. And I do, you know, every now and then I'll get Fiji water, but it's not like right now I'm drinking just like purified water just from the gas station, from a racetrack. So,
I would have been a little concerned if you said if you actually only drank Fiji water, because that would just be a hit on your wallet that I wouldn't wish upon you. But
I mean, I don't even. Have you seen my like champ pool? Like I don't need the
water. Nice. Okay, but we got that hard pressing question out of the way about Fiji water. My next question is in fact water themed. A little bit here as a little segue. Mr. Only 35, the GOAT, had his famous the post series shower vlog. Started a little bit of a movement. So some people around the broadcast team are curious, Fiji, if is this like a CCG trend, or will you hop on it? Like what we got to know is are the shower vlogs going to continue out of NACL players?
If we beat Conviction, I will do my own shower vlog. Actually, how about this? Because eventually I will go back to Florida. So when playoffs come around, and like I'm more back to, you know, I'm back to Florida. Have access to my own shower. I'm not in like, you know, this one. If not, I'll just do a pre-recorded one and I'll send it out on the Conviction match.
I love it.
But I that was mainly because of Shoshi's, you know.
Yeah.
But if we do beat Conviction, I will do a shower vlog. Sure, why not?
There you go. All right. So that was Desirux that asked that one. The masses heard it. Fiji Fiji will go for the shower vlog if they beat Conviction. Okay. Well, that kind of wraps up the interview portion here, my friend. So I guess before we cut away from this, is there kind of like those broadcast interviews you see? Like, is there anything you want to final notes, final thoughts, like shout outs? I want to give you that floor if you want to have anything strong will. You don't have to say anything either, too. We can just end this thing however you want to do it.
Just shout out to like the entire roster and like people I've played with in the past, or have been like mentoring me, I guess, like coaches, anything like that. And then family, pretty much.
Sweet. All right. Well, anybody watching, if you're watching the full interview here, things are gonna cut. We're gonna stop here. But if you want to learn tech that Fiji uses to currently dominate the NACL as a top lane tank player, make sure we're going to film a little bit of video, a little demonstration for some Scion tech, so make sure to go over to that. But for now, that'll conclude the second sit down with Slayer interview with Fiji, and we'll see you guys.